Alright, I'm taking out the oil pump or oil filter adapter and check ball. I've already loosened it up. Good thing I checked it, or good thing I'm taking it out because it was already loose. So it's just a 7/8 socket. They're usually a lot tighter than that. I mean, I just barely put the ratchet on there and it just started spinning, so. Ball won't want to come out. So that's it right there. And there's a ball behind there. If I can get the ball out. Might have to hit it with some air. Spray some cleaner in there. This thing's a lifesaver right here. I don't know if you noticed, but the price of brake clean parts cleaner is outrageous. I can buy a gallon of lacquer thinner, which is what I'm using in here, as cleaner, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to hit that thing with some air to get it out. It don't want to move. I mean, it's moving, but it don't want to come out past the threads. Let's see if I can get something to blow it out of there with it. Got too much crap in this thing. It's damn windy and raining outside. And barely got enough room to move around in here. Probably gonna have to fire this compressor up. I'm not probably going to have to. I'm going to have to. I don't know if I can pause this thing. I can't see to edit it anymore, so we'll see if I can pause it. I still get it downloaded. I think I loaded 2 videos at the same time a couple minutes ago. All right. Think I got it now. Just need to make sure this damn phone's on here. Seems to be. Took a couple minutes to get it out of there. I just had to blow through the passages with some air to get it to come out. But that's your check ball right there. That's what keeps oil from draining out of your tank. So this just seals up against the back of the adapter here. Just like that. And that's the only thing that keeps your oil from coming out of there. So you need to check the surface of this ball really good. If it's got any score marks in it all, you need to go ahead and replace it. Should still be available, maybe. I'm sure somebody makes one. If Harley doesn't still make it, I'm sure they probably do. It might carry over later models, I don't know, I haven't checked. If somebody knows, let me know if it does or not. But that's your check ball there. Let me see if we can come over this side over here. I'll show you oiling system, how it goes through the cam cover. This is my little parts washer over here. Let that soak for a while. All right, let's try that. All right, so your oil pump is mounted right up there. You can see where my finger comes through there. That's where your oil pump goes. Feed lines coming out of the tank, this side of the pump down here. You can see it still right here, or right here. That's the return line that I cut. It's going up to the pump. The pump's spinning. It's sending oil through this line right here, which is 5/8 wrench to get off there. And it just screws up in the bottom of the oil filter housing right up over here. Then it's going to fill up. The check ball's going to stop it. Once it has pump pressure, it's going to push open that ball with the spring on it. Oil is going to go through the filter into this little housing right here. You can see that little bump that's cast in there. And there's a fitting on the end right there where they cross drill it through there. It's right there in the frame. You can't get that fitting out. It runs through here, straight into your lifters, feeds the lifters first, comes through this channel here and goes through the cam cover down into the end of the pump here. That feeds the crank. Oil goes through your lifters, up through your push rods, into the rocker arms. Oiling the rocker arms. Any oil that falls down in the crankcase here, into the crankcase side, there's a little mini sump down here with a hole at the back of it that's drilled into the side, so any oil in there is going to suck back through the pump on the return side and go back through this line here back into the tank. Also, any oil that falls back into the cam cover now is going to suck through that port on the oil pump right here and get sucked back into the tank too. Now, what I used to do to keep the bottom end from filling up with oil on race stuff was I'd drill and tap the heads for a couple of fittings and then run the fittings down into the cam cover here and put like two lines, one off the back, one in the front, and I block off the drain holes through the cylinders so you're not filling up the crankcase with oil. And since they did the pump over here with the pump body on there, any oil you direct back in here is just going to feed up through get sucked up through the pump body, through that little port and the pump at the top here, and suck the gear case dry. It's a neat setup. It's good for race bike stuff, not so much for street stuff really. You don't need to go through all that hassle. Looks cool though when people always ask, what are those oil lines coming out of the cylinder heads? And you do them right over the side here, so they go like straight out this way. Or I think I did the front one at like a 45-degree angle off the front, and the back one straight back like that. or maybe it did it back in 45 too. I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time ago since I've done one. Been at least 25 years since I've done one. Probably longer than that. Probably more like 27 years. Did a few of them here and there. But that's it for your oiling system. Yeah, we'll go through the pump real good, clean it. Put it, and when I go back together with this, I'll do a video of fitting it up here, aligning the pump with the gear. I'm really surprised that pump looks really good. This thing having 67,000 miles on it. This bike's wasn't motor-wise in good shape for having that amount of time. You do have to put a clutch in it though. It's stuttering a little, slipping a little bit once in a while. Or it was. I'm sure it still is because we haven't fixed it. I just adjusted it. And it was still doing it, so we'll have to do that. Even the cams looked really good. Had it, like I said, had aftermarket cams in it, and we bought this bike salvaged, so don't really know when they were put in. Don't know anything about it. Know that the front base gasket was pouring like a sieve, and the ignition system went out on it, dropped the cylinder. I think it dropped. I don't remember it dropped the front or rear cylinder, but it was running on one cylinder. And while I had the top end off, I wanted to pull the cam cover off and just look to see what cams it had in it, because you could tell it running. It had cams in it. Had more power than a regular 1200, and it didn't sound like a regular 1200 at all. Had a little thump to it, a little thumpity thump. And everything looked pretty good, other than pistons. Everything was pretty carboned up, and the valves, like I said, the valves were toast. So we got another set of 1200 heads that we bought used, and somebody had put black diamond valves in them. Ports are stock, but somebody had put black diamond valves in there, so that's good too. And they look like really low mileage units. I haven't disassembled the heads yet, but we will here. That's next. Wait for the guy to get back on me to see if he can cut the cylinder bases so I can get the deck heights right on. I still got the front cylinder mocked up there. Got a piston in it with no rings and no base gaskets on there, with it bolted down here and over in this side here. We'll see what's going on with it. This thing rode pretty straight. Notice when I pulled the rear fender off that the two fender supports are bent a little bit to the right there, which is this thing. This whole front end was cocked on this thing. The fork tubes were, front wheel was kinked like that. I mean, it had a big kink in it, so he hit something pretty damn hard, and the fork tubes were all kinds of bent. Actually, one of them was broken. But it didn't hurt the trees any. Trees were fine. Ended up putting found some good used fork tubes, and ended up finding a wheel, a used front wheel that was laced to a shovel head front hub from like 74 to 77 front hub from a shovel head, but the rim and spokes looked brand new, so laced up a 21 to put back on there using the stock hub that was on here, stock harley hub that was on the stock XLC front end. And didn't really like the front 21. The boy wanted a 19, so a friend of ours, we were over there and talked to him and talking about bikes and all that, because he's into bikes too. And he was like, man, I got a set of Sportster rims here, stock. So we grabbed that 19 front and the back one that the back 9-spoke that I just popped the bearings out of, and we'll mount and balance, get rid of that disc wheel, and mount that other tire to it, put it back on there, go from there. I'm not doing a whole bunch else, put it back together. I need to ride it and do some test and tune days. Got to get an ignition system for it, and we'll go from there. But I'm just rambling now, so just want to finish up that video on that. I know I had just done a video a little bit ago on the oil pump, and I thought I did 2 videos. I did one on cylinders, but evidently I combined both of them together. So we'll go with that. And that's it for this one. If you like my content, please like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever, share, all that stuff. Appreciate you. Thank you.